What is up, comic fans? Welcome to the Legion of Comics. Today, we're here for my top 10 picks for this coming week's new comic book day. November 22nd is about to be massive, and DC is coming for it all. Don't go anywhere. Check this out. As always, shout out to the homies over at Big Time Collectibles. Be sure to check them out on their website. Follow them on social media, and you can now check them out Monday through Friday on Whatnot. And if you need anything cleaned or pressed, hit up my homie JustinComicx over on Instagram. Let him know you found him via the channel. You can find his link in the description down below. And lastly, huge shout out, as always, to ABX Comics and Games, my LCS, the best shop I've ever been to. Be sure to check them out if you're ever in the Augusta area. The link to their group page is also down below. Be sure to hit that and check it out. You can also find Pop Static on Instagram down there if you're looking for any back issues of comics for cannot beat it prices. So let's get into it. This is my top 10 list. This is not your top 10 list, so it shouldn't look the same. And if you see anything that's different, be sure to leave me a comment. Let me know, but let's kick it off right off the bat with a big one. This is Batman Superman World's Finest, issue number 21, part 2 of the Return to Kingdom Come. As you know, Mark Waid and Alex Ross masterfully brought Kingdom Come, the greatest comic story ever, to fans decades ago. We are returning to that world with Mark Waid writing the story. This has been fantastic so far. It's calling back to an earlier story event that they did, and now we have present-day Superman and Batman, at least present day for this title that takes place in an unspecific time in the past. They're going back to try to see if they can stop Magog from ever happening, to see if they can catch him when he's still young and formidable and take him off that path. I have a feeling I know how this all ends, and it's going to be tragic. Needless to say, I'm excited to return to the world of Kingdom Come. I loved it when they did it slightly in Jeff Johns' Justice Society of America run years ago, so it feels good to be back in here again. Absolutely love Kingdom Come, and even if they weren't, World's Finest is the single best, consistent, non-stop, amazing, ongoing monthly title from any publisher out there right now doing superhero stuff. Next up, man, oh man, this is going to be a good week. Superman issue number 8 by Joshua Williamson, Jamal Campbell, beautifully on the cover. I hope he's back to doing interiors. I did not double check on that, but this is the Chained part 2. This is supposed to be the conclusion to the first big story arc. And this is Superman facing one of Lex Luthor's biggest secrets. A skeleton that was in his closet is this person who we don't know all this information about, but seems to have an immense amount of power. And he's like psychic power, telepathy kind of power, but it's almost like he takes other people's abilities and he's able to take them and put them back on them. So we're going to see what Superman has up his sleeve to stop him. It looks like he's going to have to forfeit all of his powers to be able to take this person down to his size. So I'm all in for this. Joshua Williamson has been crushing it with this Superman title. There's so much good Superman stuff right now. If you ever doubted the big guy, this is the time to check out his stories. If you ever thought he's too overpowered or he's too one-note or he's just a big blue Boy Scout, think again, man. This is the series that might be the one to hook you and give you a better idea of what is so good about Superman. Why has he lasted this long? Why is he still so big of a part of just like the public's consciousness? Like he's the GOAT. He's the GOAT. Next up, we're diving into Titans issue number 5. So I'm really excited about this one. We have a crossover in this with none other than Swamp Thing. As you know, they have this reoccurring plot thread of not just wanting to save the world, but help rebuild it in the wake of their saving it. And a rainforest was a victim of them saving it in a previous issue. And they even touched on the last issue, wanting to help use their abilities to rebuild these places that are destroyed in the wake of the world saving that goes on. And in doing so, they realize it's a pretty big task. So for a rainforest, who better to call than the avatar of the green himself, Swamp Thing? So I'm excited to dive into this. I'm hoping that it's Levi Kamei, the most recent Swamp Thing that was introduced in Ron V's run. I'm not going to be mad if it's Alec. Don't get me wrong. But I've been waiting for Levi to pop back up for a hot minute now. Definitely looking forward to this. Big things are happening that are focused around the Titans title right now, especially with Amanda Waller in the wings and the whole Brotherhood of Blood being like the Eternal Brotherhood thing now, and Garth attached to it. And you also have this alien entity that looks like it's going around inhabiting hosts, very John Carpenter-like. So I'm all in for this series. The interiors are ridiculously good. Probably the prettiest looking monthly title on shelves right now. Just all around solid. Tom Taylor writing this one, and daggum, I forgot who's drawing it. Next up, though, we have Wonder Woman issue number 3. Like I said, DC's coming for it all this week. Tom King has crushed it. Like this guy, like for those that were doubting him, that don't want to see him on a monthly or anything, I know it's still early in the game, but I'm calling it now. This is fire. So good, like master class in storytelling, building suspense, creating these moments where you can just feel the weight of the characters that you're reading. Pretty much to synopsize it, the government has shut down the country to the Amazons. A massacre happened at Wonder Woman's hands. Not this Wonder Woman, but it looks like we might know who after issue number 2. They won't let any Amazons in. They want the ones that are present to get out so they can get their hands on the culprit and bring them to justice. Wonder Woman wasn't down for that. And the last issue was just an insane issue of just the army showing up to try to shut her down, led by this mysterious and just obviously terrible person called Commander Steel. He even used Trevor as a pawn piece to try to convince Diana just to do what they say and get out. And that didn't go well either. But this series, this specific issue in this series, now has a backup story featuring none other than Trinity, the daughter of Wonder Woman, that was introduced in issue number 800 a few months back. So we're getting her in the backup story, as well as some information on her lasso of lies and that secret Illuminati-esque organization with the Sovereign at the head of the table. It really looks like they're pulling the strings of all the corporate power or political powerhouses in the country. It's almost like a shadow government that's running the government kind of thing. I'm excited to see how it ties into all of this and who they are. So this has got a lot going for it. Daniel Sampier on the art is just chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. If you're not a Wonder Woman fan, try this one. You probably will be after you read it. It is insane. Next up, I'm so happy to announce Philip Kennedy Johnson's back with Hulk issue number 6. And on top of that, from what I understand, Klein is back on the artwork. Nick Klein has been doing the covers the whole time, but he only did the couple first issues of the interiors. We had a fill-in artist for the past few. Wasn't bad. Wasn't Nick Klein either. He already has just cemented himself as like an artist that has set the standard for the current Incredible Hulk stuff. As you know, I don't pull a lot of Marvel stuff. It's not up to my liking, and apparently these days not a lot of people's liking, but the Hulk I will never be a fair weather fan on, even through the bad stuff. I'm talking to you, Donny Cates run, but this is solid. Philip Kennedy Johnson brought Superman back from the Bendis era, and now he's bringing the Hulk back. He's brought the Hulk back from the Cates era. This is an amazing series of the Green Door being shut. Hulk is no longer immortal, and because of that, all the monsters and beasts and demons and entities now feel it is safe to try to make a play for this realm, this piece of reality, this Earth. And in this issue, he finds a small town that's plagued by all kinds of problems, and in the midst of solving those problems in his aggressive way, he wakes up an old Ghost Rider of days gone by. And it looks like he's set up to be like a World War II looking Ghost Rider. I'm wondering if he's going to be in just this issue or just these couple of issues, or if this character might stick. I'm all in for more Ghost Riders, as that's the other one of 3 Marvel titles that I pull on a monthly basis. But on top of that, they announced today that there's a brand new Ghost Rider ongoing coming in 2024 with a new writer, and maybe it's tied into this. Don't know. I'm doubting it is, but if it is, hey, this might end up being an important book. We're definitely gonna have to wait and see. I think a World War II era Ghost Rider would be dope. So I'm in it to win it. Next up, the hits just keep coming. The hits just keep coming. This is slated for release this coming week. I'm not going to promise you it'll be there. This is Jeff Johns at DC. It's not like this is one of Jeff Johns' Mad Ghost projects. Will it be out on time, or now Ghost Machine? But this series has been delayed a little bit. We know why now. But number 7 of Justice Society of America is scheduled to hit this coming week. Pumped. I'm a Golden Age guy. I love them. Absolutely love him. You got Alan Scott on the cover. You got Grundy on the cover. You got my girl Stargirl right there on the cover. This is going to be so fun. This is a brand new story arc starting right here. It's issue number 7. A lot of these new DC titles are slated for 6 issues, but this is ongoing. So we've did the first 6 issues. We dealt with Negaton. We've dealt with the returning of the lost children. And now where do we go from here? We're going to be diving into a brand new story. Huntress is still there. Batman's in there. Hopefully we get Batman out of there. Don't need him around for the Justice Society. They got it. But I get he's got to be there for the Huntress being on this world now, as this is not Helena Bertinelli, but this is Helena Wayne from the alternate universe where she was the daughter of Batman and Catwoman, which I think adds an extra layer of awesomeness to this, because her parents are deceased where she came from. So this is not her dad. It is, but it's not. So there's a cool story to be told there. I'm looking forward to diving into it, but I'm definitely looking forward to the idea of bringing Solomon Grundy in on the team, looking for that little bit of redemption, especially if you watch the Stargirl show. You know that Grundy works good as a big guy, as a good guy. He's just absolutely awesome. All right, before we go any further, I do want to say, make sure you stay to the end of the video to find out how you can potentially go home with this Incredible Hulk 180 and a CGC 8.0. This is going home to one lucky winner. and you might not want to miss out on it. All right, let's get back to it. Next up on the list, coming in at number 7, and these are not in any specific order, but number 7 is going to be Void Rivals from Image Comics under the Skybound imprint. Yo, this is the linchpin, the backbone of the Energon universe. Transformers, G.I. Joe are all now part of Image Comics, and they are all being brought in via Void Rivals, more or less. This is the story of two warring, like it's sci-fi stuff. It's two warring planets that apparently hate each other, and they keep fueling this war between each other. But it looks like the leaders of these planets know, and they just use it as a method of controlling the population. Well, it sounds like people found out about it, and it's the king of one of the planets, and now you have a rebellion happening, and the little kind of like rebels running around trying to stop and topple the government from what they're doing. We only have a few issues left of this, I think, or of this story arc. I think we have like 1 or 2 issues left of this story arc. So I'm going to be excited to see how it wraps up. But what's the most fun about this, and I hate to say it because the story is entertaining, but the most fun about this, every issue they give you a major scene, spoiler, Easter egg, teaser of something with the Energon universe. So I'm excited to see what the next little piece of that's going to be. Shockwave from Transformers has shown up in this. We've had the Quintessence show up, the little pig looking dude show up. There's just been a lot of fun stuff in here, and I'm really, really always looking forward to this. It's that every page turn, you never know what's going to be in there. And next up, probably like the fan service wet dream, Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong, issue number 2 from DC Comics and Legendary Comics. Legendary is in Legendary Pictures. It releases the USA's Godzilla Monsterverse franchise stuff. That first issue was a blast. Total set the stage. We got introduced to the Legion of Doom, the Justice League properly, and we got the mechanism that brought the monsters over to the DC universe. The issue ended with Superman flying out to the Bay in Metropolis to meet Godzilla head on. It's time to battle. The cover of this says it all. Superman standing in Godzilla's mouth, just trying to dodge that atomic breath. Super excited to get into this, to get into the action, the story. Can't wait to see what other kaiju and monsters are brought into it. This is just a blast. Let me know in the comments, what did you think of issue number 1? Next up on the list, we have Dawn of DC's Green Lantern War Journal, issue number 3, written by Philip Kennedy Johnson. Into the wild we go. Now that Green Lantern from a far-flung universe has shown up here looking for the help of the greatest lantern he's ever known about, none other than John Stewart. Is he going to be enough now that he's kind of renounced his powers to hold off this evil villain, the Revenant Queen, that is coming for blood? We'll see what happens. We'll see if he's got it in him. I'm sure he'll find it. I have a feeling he will find it. So this has just been kind of built up so far. I'm ready for it to get into stuff. John Stewart's kind of outside of his mind, lost his marvels, living as a recluse. Like I said, he renounced his powers. He's living with his mom in a construct of his dead sister that his mom's not even aware of. Like, this dude's got issues. I want them to dive into that aspect of the character and unpack some of that and see how he's going to process it. Maybe that's why it's called War Journal. We'll see where it goes. Next up, happy to say Jeremy Adams is back with issue number 2 of Jay Garrick Flash. Like I said, I'm a Golden Age guy. Absolutely love this. The Lost Children are back. Now that they're back, their counterparts, their partners, their relatives are regaining the memories that they had of them before they went missing. And now they have to try to integrate back into society. To help along with that process, Stargirl comes to take Judy out. In the midst of that, a Golden Age villain from the past comes and attacks. Jay steps in to help, and we'll see what happens from there. Will Judy allow it? Is she going to have some resentment? How is she going to reintegrate into society? Looks like this is going to be the story we're focusing on in this 6-issue miniseries, and I am here for it. Beautiful art in this one as well. Next up, this is probably a big one. I'm assuming that a lot of people are going to pick this up. I hope they are. Jason Aaron, famous for writing Marvel stuff, has stepped over to DC Comics to bring his talents over there. Jason Aaron, for me, the most recent thing I read was that previous Punisher run, Fire, and now he's coming over to tell us a tale called Batman Off-World. Such a big deal that Scotty Young even did his first DC variant for this book right here. Even more impressive than Scotty Young drawing anything, Doug Mahnke is on the covers and interiors for this. Doug Mahnke, superstar artist, and Jason Aaron have teamed up to bring us a tale of a younger Batman who encounters a villain in the streets of Gotham, which chasing the villain takes him off planet for his first cosmic odyssey. So this is going back to Batman ever realizing that aliens are real, going off world and stuff like that. And I cannot wait because I've seen the preview pages and this is going to be brutal. I'm not sure how many issues it's going for. I didn't think to check. I'm going to assume 6 to 12, which is safe bet, right? How can you go wrong assuming that window? But man, where Doug Mahnke goes, I follow. That guy is just an all-star artist. I'm excited to see what Jason Aaron brings to the table. I like that they're doing it kind of off continuity, not out of continuity, but off continuity, to give him a little bit more freedom to write the story he wants to write, being that he hasn't been here before. So a lot of times, people's dream is to write Spider-Man, Batman, Superman, these bigger characters. And let's see if Jason Aaron is going to bring it with this one. Make sure this is on your pull list. Also, leave me a comment. Are you picking this up? And the last one, if you couldn't tell, we're already past 10. That's number 11, and I had to do it. Had to add 12. Just had to. This one's just for me and the few fans out there that know. If you know, you know. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, issue number 114. This is the best this series has been in a long time, and this series has been good pretty much consistently through and through. The Shattered Grid was phenomenal. Beyond the Grid was my favorite, and this is turning out to be my absolute favorite. This Darkest Hour event, bringing in Dark Spectre. We're diving back into the whole morphing grid. We're diving back into the different dimensions. We're getting other Ranger teams involved. This is epic in scope, and it's supposed to last for the majority of the year. So they're really taking their time, pacing the story. I love a long event, and it's this is just good. This is super good. If you were ever a Power Ranger fan at any point in your life, you're going to find your fandom inside of this event right here. So this new writer on here, what was that person's name? Flores, something Flores. Right person for the job. Perfect follow-up to Ryan Parent. Shout out to Ryan Parent. He did a fantastic job for those long run he did. I hope this writer gets just as long of a run. And that's going to be it for my top 10, technically 12 lists. Let me know in the comments what you're picking up, and let's talk about that Hulk 180. So me and DJ Links came together like butt cheeks last year to do a huge channel member event where one lucky channel member went home with an Ultimate Fallout 4 CGC 9.6. This time around, we're going to do a whole nother channel member event, and one lucky winner will go home with this Hulk 180 and a CGC 8.0. Fair market value currently is a little bit over $1,000. And if you want to know all the details on the what, when, where, how, and why, go back to the video I dropped on Monday. It'll give you all the details. It looks like that right there. Go check out that video and don't miss out on the action. I appreciate everybody watching this far. Hit that thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe. I know this was a longer video, but I appreciate you all. If you want to support the channel even farther, check out the merch store or hit that join button down below. Become a channel member today. And until next time, as always, I'm Mark, but we are Legion.